In the world of PCs, colorful may not be as popular as other big-name brands such as Asus, Gigabyte, or even MSI. However, they do offer a wide variety of gaming PC parts, and compared to the big brands, they're typically more affordable. The parts Colorful offers include motherboards, SSDs, but they're more often associated with affordable graphics cards, at least from what I've seen in the Philippine market. But did you know, Colorful isn't just making PC components exclusively. They've also expanded their lineup by offering laptops. While their gaming laptops are more popular, the one we recently received is a more budget-friendly model suited for everyday needs or even business use. The Colorful Rimbook L1. With an affordable price tag, is the Colorful Rimbook L1 something you should consider for your everyday needs? Well, I'm Jose from Yugatech, and let's find out in this review. Starting with the design, there's not a lot going on with the Colorful Rimbook L1. It's a very minimalist looking laptop. After all, this isn't one that's meant for gaming. That means there's no RGB lighting either. The deck lid is clean, as you can see here, featuring just the chrome finish Colorful logo smack dab in the middle. The lid itself is made out of hard plastic. It is quite scratch resistant and, more importantly, smudge resistant. The rest of the body appears to be made out of plastic too. It doesn't have the most premium feel as compared to other laptops we've tried, but it is a budget-friendly laptop after all. At the same time, the clean look helps it look a bit more professional. So you can bring this to a meeting and it'll look decent. Similar to the deck lid, the base is also made out of the same material. It's not the smoothest feeling to the touch, but again, very smudge resistant. I specifically like how I didn't have to wipe the laptop often just to keep it looking very neat and clean. As for the size, it's quite big, specifically since it features a 15.6-inch display, which we'll talk more about later on. But despite its size, it's relatively portable. It only weighs 1.78 kilograms, making it quite light for a laptop of this size. However, it's not exactly thin, measuring 17.9 millimeters thick when closed. So it might be relatively thick, but the good news is that you do have a lot of ports at your disposal. The Rimbook L1 features 3 USB-A ports, 2 USB-C ports, and a 3.5mm audio port. There's no SD or micro SD slot, but considering you have multiple USB ports at your disposal, it's easy to bring a dongle should you need to. What's great about the Rimbook L1 is that the display can be opened up to a full 180 degrees. This allows you to use it in various forms or whatever you feel comfortable with. The hinge feels very solid, and you can even open it with just one hand. To get work done, the Rimbook L1 comes with a full-size keyboard. They are properly spaced out, and the design of the keyboard somewhat reminds me of the ones found in older Asus laptops. The main difference between that, well, this one is not backlit. The keys feel nice, and I didn't make a lot of typing mistakes when I'm using it. However, they're not exactly the most comfortable keyboard to use for extended periods of times. There's not a lot of travel, and your fingers can get tired after a while when you're typing for more than 30 minutes. As for the trackpad, it's offset to the left to make it a bit more ergonomic. Palm rejection is decent when you're typing, but what I'm more concerned about is the material used on the trackpad. It feels rough and doesn't feel great when you're gliding your finger over it. To be more specific, it sometimes feels like my finger is getting stuck when I'm using it. With that, I ended up using a wireless mouse most of the time instead of the trackpad because I didn't really like how it felt. But as expected, there's no special features on the trackpad either. Moving to the display. The Colorful Rimbook L1 uses a 15.6-inch display featuring an IPS panel with a 1080p resolution. What's interesting about this is the aspect ratio. Unlike modern laptops that use mostly a 16:10 aspect ratio, this one still uses a 16:9 ratio. No high refresh rate either, capped at just 60 FPS. Peak brightness is limited to 300 nits. It's a very basic display and meant mainly for productivity purposes. While you can watch movies or videos on these laptops, the colors aren't that great. It lacks the vibrant colors and deep blacks typically found on OLED and even higher-end IPS panels. Since it's limited to 60 FPS, the animations aren't that smooth either. If you're someone who's used to a 120Hz display, at the very least, you can easily tell the difference. With that, it's not suited for playing games. For everyday use though, it's more than adequate. If you plan on just typing or working on Excel sheets, it gets the job done. The 300 nit peak brightness is also enough if you're outside. As for the speakers, they're nothing to write home about either. They're not the loudest and the soundstage isn't the best. However, it's more than enough if you just want to chill to music while working. Still, you can always just pair your favorite Bluetooth headphones or just plug into the 3.5mm audio port. I mean, it's there, right? Now, this being a business laptop, the colorful Rimbook L1 does not come with a dedicated GPU. Instead, it only packs an Intel Core i5-12450H processor for everything. Our review unit comes with 16GB of RAM and 512GB of SSD storage. It also comes with Windows 11 Home Standard, but as you can see from the keyboard, there's no Copilot button here. The 12th gen Intel i5 processor is by no means slow, even compared to today's standards. It can easily handle Chrome with multiple tabs open, Spotify, Discord, and other productivity apps like Photoshop simultaneously. With that, you can easily get work done on this laptop and do so at a nice, relaxing pace. Some of you might find the SSD storage lacking, but if you don't plan on playing a lot of games, it's more than adequate. Even with our benchmarking apps and the Adobe editing software installed, which is Lightroom, Photoshop, and Premiere, it still had enough space for a game or two, depending on how big the game you have. Then again, it can't really play games that well. I installed Genshin Impact on the Rimbook L1 and it can run the game. However, it doesn't do so that smoothly. Even at the lowest graphics settings, with just 60 FPS, you get the occasional frame rate drops even when you're just out exploring the world. Worse yet, even when you're just in one city, you already get frame rate drops. I could tell the laptop was struggling to run the game, given how noisy the fans became. Subsequently, it also became noticeably hot to the touch. With that alone, I didn't really bother trying to run other games on this laptop. Well, that's unless you want me to install Command & Conquer General Zero Hour again. But of course, we also ran our usual benchmarks and you can check out the scores on screen right now. They're not the best, but they're still decent altogether. The battery of the colorful Rimbook L1 isn't as big as other similarly sized laptops. It only packs a 50 watt-hour battery pack, but surprisingly lasts longer than I expected it to be. After using this to work for 1 hour, I only drained the battery from 100% to 80%. And for reference, I was connected to Wi-Fi running Chrome, Discord, and Spotify all at the same time. The battery drains faster when you're using heavier apps like Lightroom or Photoshop, but again, that's to be expected. And the same goes when you're gaming. With that, it's best to bring the 65-watt charger around with you just in case. It's not a big charger and it won't really take up a lot of space in your bag. Nothing really stands out about the colorful Rimbook L1. It's a decent business or productivity laptop and it gets the job done. While you can play games on it, it won't give you the best experience either. The same can be said about the display, speakers, and even the battery life. One thing that it does have going for it though is the price. At the time this video was recorded, the Rimbook L1 with the same specifications as our review unit retails for $399 excluding tax. That's roughly 23,000 pesos or more or less 24,000 to 26,000 pesos with tax depending on the retailer. It's a decent laptop to get. It's more than adequate if you just need one for school or work and you want something with a larger screen over 14 inches. So far, what do you think of the colorful Rimbook L1? Would it be your budget laptop choice of this year or would you consider something else? Whatever the case, share your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And of course, visit yougettech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Jose. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.